Hello FlossTube, my name is Leann and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today is Wednesday, January 11th, and I have no idea what number FlossTube this is. It's been so long since I filled a regular FlossTube. I will research it and get back to you. It's been about 10 days, 9 days since my whip parade. It's been a little over a month since my last regular FlossTube, so here we are. I'm not going to do all of the stitching I did in between my last FlossTube and this FlossTube, just because I just filmed my whip parade, so you've seen all of it. Basically what I want to do today is just show you the stitching that I've been doing for the last week and a half or so since I filmed my whip parade. I have actually worked on quite a few projects, which is pretty exciting for me because it's been so long since I've really gotten to stitch regularly. I think my NYE 12x12 project really lit a fire in me and in my stitching life again, so that's really exciting. So let's just get to the stitching. I have two finishes to show you. One is I think it's finished, and one is it's definitely finished. It was a start and a finish. And then I have a bunch of progress and I have one new start. So let's do the finishes first. This is my temperature butterflies, and I finished this, I don't remember which day, way later than I intended to. I finished the December butterfly. I think when I showed it to you on my whip parade, I hadn't started the December butterfly yet. So I finished it, and then I attempted to put a little temperature chart in there. I'll hold it close. I don't know if you can read it. I'm stitching this 1/1 on 32 count linen. It's a mystery linen that I wanted to give away. And I can read it in person. It's really tiny, but I can read it. But this little December butterfly somehow made its way 2 stitches up too high. And I didn't realize it until I was putting in this line. So as you can see, I dropped down, that's 3 stitches. And I started it, and then when I got over here, I was like, wait a minute, I left more room than that. So I kept going, thinking I would just go with it. And then I got to here, and I realized that I was more than halfway across the chart, and I was not even close to halfway done with all of the temperatures that I needed to put across. I have a little square, that's the color I used and the temperature range. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll just drop down a line and I'll write my city and the year right there. Well, then I realized that it would be backwards because the hottest temperatures would be on top, the lowest temperatures would be on the bottom. And I pretty much just gave up. So I'm gonna call it a finish. And if at some point in the future, I decide to rip all that out and go back and actually chart something out and plan it out, then I will take it back out. But I'm good with it as it is. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I don't know how I'm displaying it. I don't really know. So I'm just gonna be good with it as it is. So there you go, my temperature butterflies, the patterns by Stitchin Mommy. And it was a fun stitch. I think that if I had not been doing no new starts in 2021 and therefore hadn't stitched if I had stitched the butterflies ahead of time and just gotten to stitch the temperatures during the year, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But once I stopped thinking it as like a bonus piece that I was just doing a little bit every night and started putting it in as my main project of the day, I really enjoyed it a lot more. So it was definitely a fun stitch. And it was really fun to see how the temperature changed throughout the year. And I think I've mentioned this before, but this heat wave right here, I really don't feel is appropriately represented because the heat index due to the humidity was way over 100, but our temperatures never really got above 98 or 99. So I never got to use the hottest temperature color, but we definitely lived through it. And then I finally got to use our the lowest color right there in December when we had that deep freeze right before Christmas. So it was really neat. I am planning to replace that project with Stitchin Mommy's Temperature Quaker. I just haven't pulled the floss or picked a fabric yet because I was waiting to finish that. So now that I have considering that done, I'm gonna do that hopefully this weekend and do a catch up for the first 2 weeks of the year on Sunday. The other project I finished is a start and a finish, and it's one of my designs, and it's called Light of the World. And you can't see, the yellow stars really show up better in person than they're showing up here. But I'm doing a new series in the shop this year called the Red Letter series. And basically it's just going to be words of encouragement from the Bible, from Jesus. Those are the red letters in the Bible if you're not familiar. And I thought that this was a good sentiment to start the year with. So there it is. I had a lot of fun designing those little lanterns, and it's not how I envisioned it when I started, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And we actually have these kits in the shop right now. We have the pattern. I don't think I've gotten floss packs up yet, but the pattern and the cross stitch kit is available, and obviously everything's available separately. It's on a 16 count toasted coconut, and it uses pineapple is the light yellow. It uses lemon curd is the dark yellow of the stars. It uses Inkwell is what I used for the black lanterns, and then there's a tiny bit of Magnolia in the very middle of the light, and then the words are in Poinsettia, which is a variegated red, kind of a gradient style. And I just really love how it came out. And I have a whole quarter yard here that I plan to stitch the next piece on and the next one, and hopefully I can just keep going. I know what I want the next design to be yet. I just haven't charted it out yet. I'm hoping, I'm working from home today. It's Wednesday. I didn't even address that. Normally I film on Sundays, but I'm trying something new this year because our weekends have gotten really busy. My goal for this year is to work from home on Wednesdays to kind of give me a little bit better of a work-life balance, and also let me do my FlossTube videos and any other things that I need to do. All right, so new start. My new year, new start. Ooh, I have a picture somewhere. My new year, new start this year is the Beatrix Potter Sampler from StitchyBox Samplers, and it is a sal, kind of a loose sal. I don't know if we have a hashtag. I'm gonna need to double check on that again. Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World started the sal, and then I heard about it from Museum Stitcher. And so I wasn't sure what made this the Beatrix Potter Sampler because there were no initials, there were no Peter Rabbits hiding anywhere. I really wasn't sure. And what it ends up is that this was a sampler that a friend gave her. And so it was in her personal sampler collection, like it hung in her house, but she didn't actually stitch it, and it's not themed after her. So I still think it's neat. I still love anything Beatrix Potter, and I am all in. So here is where I just worked on it on New Year's Day, just briefly, because I was still trying to do my temperature butterflies. And we also had a really busy New Year Day. So I started, that's upside down. What is it with me and showing things upside down lately? Yes, that is correct. I started kind of in the upper right-hand corner, left-hand corner. There is another motif that goes down this way. But when I looked at the pattern, I thought it would be more interesting to go across the top of the page to start, or the top of the sampler to start. So that's where I started. And I am stitching this on a 40 count Newcastle linen. I think it's in the colorway Chosen, and that's in the Forbidden Fiber Co shop. And I am stitching it with Garnet. And I had a huge skein of Garnet that was miscut. And so we can't use it, we can't sell it in the shop because the pieces are too short. So I am using that for this, and I might peter in some other colors. There is one other color charted that that only has a couple hundred stitches in it. I haven't picked that out yet, and I might add in some other colors here and there. It just depends on how I'm feeling when I'm stitching, so we'll see. But I'm hoping to start and finish that this year, which means I would need to put about 2,000 stitches per month in that. So I don't know. I don't know if that's too, what's the word? Ambitious of a goal, but we'll see how it goes. The next piece I stitched on was The Moons of 2022 by Kathy Barrick. And I am using the hashtag Full Moon Sal for this one. And basically the 3 nights of the full moon, I am stitching on this. And I'm not sure if everybody's stitching it the 3 nights of the full moon. They might just be stitching it on the actual night of the full moon, not before and after. But I'm doing all 3 because So far in my attempt to do this, I have only ever gotten to stitch on one of those days. And so I figure if I aim for 3, maybe I'll at least get 1. And I am stitching this on a 32 count mystery Evenweave. It's something I dyed when I was first learning to dye fabric. I couldn't repeat it if I wanted to. I don't even have a colorway that's close. But there it is. And so I finished all the way up to January, and I did all the boxes. And then I figure I'm going to stitch the borders and stitch around for a little while just to get away from the letters. And then in November, I'll pick back up with the months and the moons and finish that out. And I still haven't decided. I'm gonna draw the box up here, but I still haven't decided if I'm gonna do the moons of 2022 or if I'm just gonna put full moons or something like that. So I'm gonna stitch the box so I can stitch up top and decide that later. Because if I finish this year, I might do it, but I don't know realistically if I can finish this year, because look at that. That is full coverage up there, and that is a lot of stitching. I'm using the called for NPI Silks on this. I treated myself, I think for my birthday on that, but the problem is that the model is stitched on 40 count. So it lists what you need to stitch 1/2 on 40 count, and I'm stitching 2/2 on 32 count, and so I don't have enough. I'm already running out of the color that does the words, and then I know I'm gonna run out of this dark blue. So I need to order some more of that. The next piece I have is Mirabilia Miss Christmas Eve, and I am stitching this with Sarah from Memphis Sarah E. We started it on Christmas Eve 2021, and our goal is to finish it by Christmas Eve 2023 this year, so that we can start on Bella Filipina's new Christmas fairy, I don't really know, pixie. I think she's a pixie, and she's really beautiful. If you haven't seen her, you need to go check her out. So we want to start on that this Christmas Eve. So I'm going to try to finish Miss Christmas Eve this year. Here is where I'm at. It just doesn't want to stay, does it? So I decided to divide the chart into 12 pieces, and it's really hard to do because I thought that the easiest way to do it would just be to go in groups of 10 lines, how it's blocked out, but the dress gets wider as it gets down. So obviously it'll take a lot longer to stitch the bottom than the top. And so as I was looking at the pattern and looking at how I like to stitch, I don't think that's gonna work. So I'm just gonna do my best. And my goal is to finish all of the stitching by October and spend November and December doing back stitching and beading. So this time I worked all in the dress. The top half is all done except for beading and back stitching. So I'm gonna be working all in green to finish her out. And I basically started at the top, and I've just been filling in all the little holes that I've left. So like this right here is beads, and all this is beads, and this around there is beads. So I've just been filling in. And I'm gonna work on this. I used to rotate my Mirabilias for Mirabilia Monday. And I had 4, so I would stitch each one every month, one Monday a month. But since I really wanna finish this, I'm going to focus on this one. And then I have New Year's Eve Fairy that I'm gonna kind of fit in where I can. And then I have Royal Holiday, and I didn't even put that on my 23 and 23 whips board. So I don't know if I'm gonna stitch on her much. I might wait till Christmas when the challenge is over. Okay, the last piece I worked on is Dark Queen of the Earth, and I don't have a picture for her, so I'll just put one up there. And here she is. I finished part 3 before the end of December. So I think in my whip parade, part 3 was done. And then on the New Year's Eve 12 by 12, I worked on this green right here, and I had it all the way down, and I did an extra row right in there. I had an extra row, and so I had to pick it all out. I don't know if you can still see where my holes are, but I had to pick it all out. It was 150 stitches that I had to frog last night, and then I went in and I worked with the brown, 2 shades of brown, and I got a lot done. I got almost 600 stitches done last night. So good progress. And I'm working on this every Tuesday because I'm working on part 4. They've already released part 5 and each one is over 3,000 stitches. So I don't have any hope of catching up this month, but I at least don't want to fall any further behind. If I could stay one part behind until I can catch up, I would be happy with that. This is a 32 count fabric that we dyed in the studio. It's not in the shop right now because we just dyed this piece, but it is basically my Parliament colorway, super saturated. And so I definitely want to put it in the shop. I think it would be a fun spring fabric or Valentine's Day fabric or whatever fabric you want to use it for. I also forgot to tell you this piece I dyed. Sarah saw a video that Teresa Little Stitcher posted from a retreat, and it showed Miss Christmas Eve on a fabric that was golden gray like this. And so Sarah asked me if I would dye a piece, and it took me 3 different versions to finally get this. And I have had it sitting packaged next to my desk for months and months and months. I've had several people ask me for it, and I don't know why. I just didn't get it in the shop. So it is in the shop now. It does not have a picture on the listing, but it is in there, and it is called Calacatta Gold, and I will put it up there. And I can't remember where I got that name from, but I want to say it's the name of a type of marble that has yellowing gold and gray streaks running through it. So yeah, that is all my stitching I have to show you. I have plans for this week, but I didn't bring those pieces in. I know I'm going to be doing my Chatelaine Wednesday today, and I think I'm working on Marvel Stitches, Marvel Heroes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get some good time in on that so I can progress and keep trying to finish that for my husband. And then consider the lilies on Sunday, plus my temperature Quaker that I want to start. And yeah, I do have a little bit of haul, just 2 patterns. This is Teresa Kogut's In His Image, and this was an exclusive pattern to Craft Gallery that Zan picked up for me when she and Zan is Crazy Band Lady Stitches on YouTube and on Instagram, and she and Sarah went up to StitchCon last summer, and they stopped at Craft Gallery, and she picked this up for me. So I think it's an exclusive chart to Craft Gallery. And then the other pattern I got is the Scarlet House Martha Evans 1879, and Sherry from Colorado Cross Stitcher, I think that's her name. She is doing a sal with this year, and I think everybody already started. I have not, obviously, because I'm trying to control how many whips I work on this year just to try to give myself some sanity. So I don't know if I'll start it this year, but I really love the pattern. I didn't buy the silks that went with it. I am probably just going to use the DMC conversion. But yeah, so I have it, and you know, because I need another huge sampler after I just started Beatrix, Potter, Quaker, and all of the other big samplers I have. But yeah, I thought I would start at the end of every FlossTube episode, I guess is what it is. Just talk a little bit about shop news. Today is Wednesday, so we typically do our midweek release on Wednesdays, and usually what that looks like is we release a cross-stitch pattern and sometimes a yarn pattern or a yarn colorway that was in a previous kit that we sold, a mystery kit where you could only previously get it in that kit, and we usually hold things exclusive to kits for 6 months. So today, in honor of Elvis's birthday on Sunday, we are releasing our Elvis blue suede shoes pattern, and I didn't bring one with me because I wasn't that prepared, but I'm gonna pop a picture of it right there. And this was designed by Kelly, and we have a floss called Blue Suede Shoes that we used in it, and the fabric is called Roustabout. And I will get those kits loaded into the shop, and probably around, I usually do it around 4 p.m. So if you are interested, if you love Elvis, go ahead and check that out. You know, we live in Memphis, or north of Memphis, so Elvis is huge here. And every year on his birthday and on the date of his death, people gather at Graceland, and it's really a big deal. They're actually, I didn't understand it at first because it sounds kind of, not cruel, but it sounds kind of uncouth. but they literally call the week in August where he passed Dead Elvis Week, and people just come to Memphis from all over all week long, and they have tons of events at Graceland and everything, and it's something that you really have to get used to. And we live far enough away that it doesn't really affect us here, but we hear all about it on the news and from other people and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know how pervasive Elvis is in other parts of the country, but he is definitely a big part of the culture here, and so that's why we did that kit. You know, everybody here, at least in Tipton County where I live, everybody has a story of my grandfather used to go down to Elvis and go down to Graceland, and he knew Elvis and he did this with Elvis. And so it's still really big around here. I know the story goes that my husband's grandfather's brother, his grandfather's brother used to go and play football at Graceland. And so everybody's got a story like that here, and it's just really neat. That's all I really have for you today. Drop me a comment, tell me what you're working on, anything else you want to tell me. And I guess I will see you later. I hope you have a good week. And as always, I hope you lead with love. Bye.